It's an honor to be asked and an honor to see that some people are okay with it.
Those are just our friends
Yeah,
in the front
that's
row,
probably
by the
just
way.
a couple
It's
people
like
we know.
the team,
Those are the
three
tickets
people
we got.
yeah, that's it.
You never know.
U.S. President Donald Trump's eldest son, Donald Trump Jr., said when asked if he would run for president, "You never know. Maybe one day, that calling is there," he told the Qatar Economic Forum held in Doha. Speaking alongside 1789 Capital founder Omid Malik, Trump 47 joked that the people clapping were the couple of people we know.
MAGA ideology is dominating the Republican Party now.
Yeah.
After President Trump steps down, would you consider picking up the reins? Would you run for office?
Here we go. Well, oh boy. Well, it's an honor to be asked and an honor to see that some people are okay with it.
Those are just our friends in the front
that's
row, by
probably
the way.
just a couple people we know.
The team,
Those are the
three
tickets
people
we got.
Yeah, that's it. Right.
You never know. Right now, this has been my focus. I think it's not just about government. It's also about, the business sector doing that. I think when we saw, again, the woke ideology that has taken over corporate America for the last, decade or so, being on the forefront of combating that insanity, I think is fundamentally important. I think those two things have to go hand in hand. So the answer is, I don't know, maybe one day, that calling is there. I'll always be very active in terms of being a vocal proponent of these things. I think my father has truly changed, the Republican Party. I think it's the America First Party now, the MAGA Party, however you want to look at it. But I think more importantly, again, over the last 4 years, I don't mean to keep harping on that, these things we went through, the lawfare, the nonsense, the jailing of our constituents for, peaceful protests, it was insane. And what it did was it created an environment where you no longer have these milquetoast Republicans dominating the Republican field. Certain people, and a good handful of them, stepped up. They fought back. They made a name for themselves fighting the insanity. And now they have a following. So for the first time ever, the Republican Party actually has a bench of America First fighters who are willing to do this. Not the, another Mitt Romney, great, he'll come in, he'll be swayed. People who have the conviction to actually fight for what they believe. People who have the resolve to actually do what they tell their constituents when they're in a room with them and it's private. Right now, we've seen too many people, they'll sit there, they'll tell them everything they want to hear in a nice room, and then they go back to D.C., the Washington Post is going to do a hit piece on me. I'm going to change the entire ethos of everything I've told my people and capitulate. That is no longer. I've said it so many times. In 2020, all the Democrats had to do was be quiet. Okay, Trump would have won the election. I think everyone probably believes he actually won at this point. Anyway, I don't think anyone
that's
with
for
a
another
sentient
discussion.
brain actually believes that. That's another session. But all they had to do was let it go. Trump would have had a cabinet that wasn't always working for him. There were some people that were great and some people that weren't. Now, over the last 4 years, we have a team of tested warriors who believe in him. We know who those people are. They're fighting for him. They're aligned. And these next 4 years can be so much more productive. Had that not happened, again, you would have had a sort of very average cabinet. They would have slowed him down. They would have slow-rolled it. You'd probably have, a Democrat president right now. I think this is the greatest opportunity. These next 3.5 years is the greatest opportunity to reset America, to reset relations around the world, to create prosperity and growth for everyone. And I'm all here for it. I'm super excited about it.
Don, the Trump Organization announced several deals as well in the last couple of weeks. Have you found that it's gotten easier to get business done because of perceived access to the White House?
No, I don't think it has anything to do with that. Again, we spoke about it backstage. I spoke, headlined the Dubai Cityscape Conference in 2007. We've had deals in the regions forever. It's something we've looked at, again, prior to most people finding it sort of acceptable to be over here. So I don't think that's changed. I think it's the fact that we've had these relationships for so long that so many of these things have been able to happen. People have talked about that, but the reality is my father was a real estate investor and a builder for 40 years. It's what we've done. And so as the region has developed, as more of these areas have really expanded, especially in the ultra-luxury sector, which is obviously the focus of the Trump Organization, those opportunities have abound. But we've been talking and doing these things both prior to his presidency and during for my brother and I, while he had nothing to do with those things.
Yeah, I mean, critics will say that the U.S. government probably shouldn't be doing deals with entities or government-aligned entities that are also doing business potentially with the Trump organization. What do you think?
We're not, the Trump organization isn't doing business with any government entities. They're doing it with private investors. I mean, many of the people in this room probably know them or have talked about them with that. And so, there is a very clear distinction between those things. In the first term, we actually said we're not going to do any foreign deals, even though that's what we did. Yeah. We had done it for years. We just said, hey, we're going to do this. And the reality is it didn't stop the media from constantly saying, you're profiteering anyway. It was like we stopped entirely. Even the deals that were totally legit, it didn't stop the insanity. So this time around we said, hey, we're going to play by the rules, but we're not going to go so far as to stymie our business forever, lock ourselves in a proverbial padded room, because it almost doesn't matter. They're going to hit you no matter what. So we're just going to play the game.
Do you still feel that you're censored? Because you're pretty outspoken. You say whatever you want.
I think Elon buying X was a major game changer, but we were censored across the board. By the way, I was on Fox News every day of every week for 5 years, and then in early 2020, after the election, I wasn't on for 2.5 years. So it wasn't even just the liberal-dominated media or social media platforms. We were just off. So again, we created our own solutions. We fought back. Elon buying X changed the game, because it didn't become a conservative platform. Liberals just weren't comfortable with anyone being able to fight back. They were so used to anyone putting up a credible argument to them just being shadow banned, just being censored. We've seen that with our own eyes. So we created solutions to all of these things. They're not conflicts. They're a reaction to the market and to frankly, the landscape that was presented to us because, as I've said, we've always been business people who are coming up with us. We're innovators.
Moody's just downgraded U.S. sovereign rating on Friday. The dollar is down 7% this year. Lots of external investors are questioning whether some of the decisions made by the Trump administration, be it on trade, on putting America first, are actually going to be beneficial for the U.S. economy. Is MAGA working for the U.S. economy?
I think without question. I think if you look at what happened in the last 10 days, trillions of dollars of investment. I think the problem that we have is these days, and with the media bias and hysteria, so many people expect you do something and it's instant gratification. You get whatever you want right away. The reality is that's not how the world works. These things take time to foment, to build up. You have to actually wait a little bit for these policies. You saw it when the S&P dropped in a week, and there's, oh my God, it's the Trump crash. Everyone's lost their entire 401k. What did it take? It took 10 days to get back to where it was, and now it's ahead. It's nonsense. It's hysteria driven by the media. No one who's ever done business, gets that instant return in 1 week, but they expect people to believe it. When the market goes down, it's the Trump crash. When it comes back up, Trump gets no credit for any of it, right? It's someone else. It's these other factors that did it. We've seen this story play out so many times, and I think it's why we're investing in independent media, because I think the mainstream media has frankly shot so much of its credibility by doing this. Everything's about clicks and hysteria, and if it's bad, Trump did it. If it's good, it's everyone else. It doesn't work that way. I think if you give these things time, if you let this investment take hold, this is game-changing for America, for the region, and for security in the world. And if you've been watching the world, I think everyone recognizes that a strong America is not just good for America, it's good for the world. Yeah. We've seen what happens for the last 4 years under weak leadership, and perhaps we needed that weakness for a while. We needed to hit rock bottom to understand just how fragile all of these things are, just how quickly our democracy, our freedom, the peace we've experienced under my father's first term can go away. We went from a time of prosperity to a time of poverty. We went from a time of peace to a time of war. And now, again, it's been, 8, 9 weeks? Yeah. And we're already back at the table when the other administration wouldn't even have these things. So we can't be in a mindset. I see everyone nodding, so I think they agree. We can't be in a mindset that you do something, and the next day the stock market's supposed to go up 12,000 points, and everyone's happy. These things take time,